Alright guys, welcome to the Raw Show. We got a special show today. We got all the way live from the USA. Tasha it. Now, this show is about the raw truth behind Thanksgiving and the native slash indigenous people of America. So, enjoy the show. Tune in. I'm just going to be sharing the show around while we wait for Tasha to come. So, yeah. Alright. Shout out to people watching right now. Alright, Taswani. We've got Sam Wilson watching. Yeah, we're just waiting for Tasha to come. And then we will be starting the show. The show is about the raw truth behind Thanksgiving and the native slash indigenous people of America. So, hope you enjoy it, yeah. I'm going to be sharing the show around while waiting for our guests to come. Alright. Yeah, everything's good still, Tash. Alright, we've got Tash watching now, yeah, so I'm going to bring her in. Alright, right. Yeah, as I was saying, we got the show called The Raw Truth Behind Thanksgiving and the native slash indigenous people of America. This is the show we've got going on right now, yeah, so hope you enjoy it. As I'm sharing the show around while we're into it with our guests. Alright, so we're gonna answer from here, so I'm gonna try to get you again. Trying to add you, Tasha, saying we ain't getting no answer from you, so I'm gonna add you again. Alright. Alright, you're right, Tash. How are you?
Okay, I've been sick. That's why it took me a while to hear my voice.
Okay. Alright, man. So, how you enjoying the holidays?
I've been sick the whole time, so
Okay, have you?
yeah.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that.
Mhm.
Alright. So, today's show is about the raw truth behind Thanksgiving and the native slash indigenous people of America. So, what I want to do first of all is establish who the indigenous people are of Native America. So, the audience has got a clear insight to who the actual people are. So, we know what basis we're working from. So, we can explain how we've got to where we are today. So, would you like to let the audience know
The history or what people are doing now?
who the indigenous people are?
Well, the indigenous people involved in Thanksgiving were the Northern Algonquian people. They were the Wampanoag, the Pequot, the Narragansett, and a couple other tribes that
Okay,
have been lost to history. Um,
okay,
so the people for that region were They were so-called black people. Looked like
Okay.
my family is actually of Algonquian descent, so have a similar
Yeah.
look to people up there. And if you
Okay.
look, they don't hide what the people look like. If you look up King Philip, uh, Po comment people, see that they have brown skin.
Okay.
They look the same eyes as I do. So
Okay. All right. So for the audience, yeah, basically the people that we actually are talking about are black people, basically. So when they say that 90% of the Indians died out, yeah, that's actually not true because the people that they're talking about, the people like myself and Tasha and people that like, so as in, how did Thanksgiving occur then? If we are the indigenous people, what happened for Thanksgiving to occur?
well, you got to go back to before they arrived in larger numbers. They were coming here as slave hunters. They were taking people off the
Okay,
coast. If you guys know Squanto from Thanksgiving legend, he was actually enslaved in England. So they took him from here with other people from his tribe, and they were slaves.
okay,
And he's learned the English language. I think he learned probably Latin and other languages, of which many of the indigenous slaves did at that time, to bring up their sale, the resale value. But somehow he was able to sneak in a ship or bribe people in a ship that was coming back to America, and that's how he got home. And when he got home, him and another guy,
okay,
the area that's now called Maine, when they got back to where Squanto was from, the whole village was gone. So it was plague going through the East Coast at that time.
yeah,
Many people think that the plague came from those slavers who came over to steal people
okay,
from Europe. So a lot of people were wiped out by that. This is before, you know, this is before all those people came up here, before Jamestown.
okay,
So when he got
all
back,
right,
he found the whole town was gone, and that area is where the pilgrims came and they set up their village on top of the former Indian village that was there.
okay,
So with that being said, Squanto, of course, being a former slave, knowing language, he reached out to the people because he didn't have anyone left, besides other slaves that him. And he also felt like he could be an asset to the people and also get benefits for himself. And being a
yeah,
slave, looking at slave mentality, helping these, feeling
okay.
obligated. So that's
So you're breaking up a little bit, you know.
hmm. You said I'm breaking
You're breaking up a little bit. Yeah.
up. Okay, I don't know what it is. No, can't. I'm in one area, so I can't really change it. So
All right, all right. We'll try here as best as we can.
yeah, it's probably because we're on different continents.
Yeah,
So yeah,
definitely,
yeah.
definitely.
Um,
So the guy you're talking about that was the slave in England.
mhm,
What was he doing? You say he was talking to the people.
mhm. So he was trying to
Okay,
alliances with the newcomer, because his rival was still there. Like the other tribes that his tribe didn't get along with were still there. So he was trying to get protection from them instead of joining them.
okay.
Mhm. And he was also,
So he ended up joining them.
yeah, he was also a Christian too. So he felt like it was the Christian way to help these people. And he also thought that he would be able to convert some of the Indians to his faith. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So when he was kidnapped, taken as a slave in England, he's escaped back to America,
Yes.
found that his people are gone. because they've been taking slaves too.
Yes, they
Okay, and then
were slaves, or they died of the plague that was happening, the disease.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, and this disease was brought in by the English.
Yeah, whatever European, it was either it was the Dutch, the English, a lot of them were coming. They're basically what they were doing is test runs to see who the people
Okay,
were before they invaded. They took people as slaves so they could find out all about our culture, our languages and things.
okay,
What they did was create what we call Uncle Tom, quote unquote, which was Squanto, people that would be able to be
okay,
between the indigenous people and the invaders. So they need these buffer people like
okay,
to be able to get in good with the tribes, to try to come in and pretend like they were, but they already had this elaborate plan already created
yeah,
before
okay,
take over the land, basically.
okay, okay. So when he appealed to his enemy tribes, you say that did they take him in?
Um, I don't believe they would. I believe they would have, but he didn't go that route because, like I said, he was a Christian, so he felt
Okay,
like it was he wanted to align with he wanted basically to be a peacekeeper, to be a buffer, like I said, to
oh,
help.
between the two sides. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
yeah, okay, yeah,
some of his
okay,
people, women and stuff, did join the enemy tribe, for their own
okay,
protection. So
okay, okay. All right. So at this point, then there's a large location basically that is empty now because obviously a lot of people have died
hmm
from
yeah.
this disease.
hmm
So is that when the pilgrims came over?
Yes, the Pilgrims came over into Squanto's Old Town and created Plymouth Plantation. That's what it's called. It's called Plymouth.
Okay,
Yeah, you can just Google Plymouth Plantation. All the information will come up. Um, I read a lot
okay,
about a book called The Strenuous Puritan. I forget the author's name,
yep,
but um, actually talked about the first quote unquote slave ship, probably one of the only real slave ships that were built to take people
okay,
from England to the Caribbean as slaves.
all right,
So this, I think the ship's called Destiny. It was created in, I
okay,
think, 1822 in Plymouth Plantation.
yeah,
They actually shipped there. They used the wood from the woods there, and they captured mostly the Pequot warriors at that time and shipped them to the Caribbean
okay,
as slaves. That was probably Bermuda
okay,
to Virginia. See, there's different terms at that time because some places, Virginia and Carolinas, considered the Caribbean, the West Indies as well.
yeah,
So some of those
okay.
people were in Virginia and Carolina too, because they're close to
Say that again, sorry.
some of at the time, the
Say that
definition.
again, sorry.
Hmm? Did you hear me?
Say that again, sorry.
Sorry.
You was breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Let me see. So at that time, the definition of the West Indies wasn't, permanent, solidified. So some of the places like the coast of Virginia and the Carolinas was
Yeah,
considered Indies as well. So those people were
okay,
from New England all the way down to, Virginia, Caribbean, Carolinas, and those areas as slaves.
so they were taken down there as slaves by
hmm
the pilgrims.
So what they were
Okay,
doing, trying they trying to basically get rid of the indigenous people. Squanto and a couple of
yes,
other people had set up treaties where they said, you guys can have this little bit of land, um, and we all can live together. But those, certain
okay,
individuals, not the actual government, certain individuals didn't like the idea. They came into
yeah,
Indian territory messing with people. And the Indians retaliated, which caused the people at war. So
Okay.
they killed one European man. Basically, all hell broke loose, and they said we need to get revenge. And that's when they start those wars, and they built the slave ship, and they sent those people away, basically. And the women and children, they split up as worked as slaves in plantation.
Okay. So basically, they shipped the men away and left the women on the land.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know where they shipped the men to?
So where the ship went to?
Do you know where they shipped the men to?
Oh, the West Indies. Shipped the men to the West
Okay.
Indies. Shipped people from the West Indies. Some men from there. We don't know if
Okay.
they sure they were other Indians, but they shipped some of those people back. So they had men who didn't know the language. Even if they were warriors, they wouldn't be able to fight because they didn't know where they were. They didn't even know what country they were in.
Okay.
Territory.
Okay. Okay. So at this time, after the Peacock Wars, this is when Thanksgiving started.
Yes, around that time. It was
Okay.
two different altercations. One with a Metacomet and one with Co-Metacomet, which is his son, who is King Philip. So they had
Okay.
they had signed this treaty with King Philip's father, and they basically reneged on everything in the treaty and had issues with King Philip. And yeah, that's when all the
Okay.
altercations. So one of the
Is
bigger.
that King? And where was King Philip from?
He is from Massachusetts, the New England area, Connecticut.
Okay. Was he a pilgrim?
No, that's Poe Metacomet. That's Metacomet's son.
Okay.
He
Okay.
was,
Okay.
he was. They just call him. Sometimes they gave our kings and queens like English names, King Philip and Queen
Okay.
Anne. And yeah, just so the
Okay.
people can.
Okay. Okay. So once these issues and problems started to happen, is this when the actual war itself broke out?
Yes, after they attacked the people, they basically the people were sleeping and they came and attacked people and burned houses with women and children in them. And that's when, of course, you got to retaliate. You got to protect yourself and you got to protect the people.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so that,
So, and this is why they celebrate Thanksgiving today.
well, Thanksgiving has so many different stories with it because there were these that were signed, like I said before, with the comet and the Coleman comet. That's when they had the war. The Thanksgiving
Yeah.
was for the Indians. Thanksgiving for the English, the Dutch, for them celebrating dominating over the people, basically. And at one point in time, they actually beheaded a lot of the leaders, and they were kicking their heads on the street with soccer balls, and they were putting people's
Oh
heads.
yeah.
Yeah, they had one of the kings. Let me see, which king was it? I think it was the Wampanoag king.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had his
Because
head
I remember it.
in Plymouth on a stake for 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
remember he posted about that recently.
yeah, so
And this is the actual head of a black king
yes, yes,
because a lot of people don't actually know the identity of these people. So for the audience, I have to let the audience know it's black folk like
mhm,
me and Tash.
yes,
It's us that
right,
were invaded, and it's the things that you're hearing that happened. It actually happened to us.
right.
So the audience has to know this because I think it's about time that we as a people knew the truth, and also the rest of the world knew the truth as well.
Right. Yeah,
But
because
definitely our people.
they interview a lot of Indians from out in the Plains area and the Midwest, and they have nothing to do with what happened on this coast. They just reap the percussions like 200 years later. So they for 200 years they didn't know what happened over here on the East Coast, and they were totally different people.
Okay.
They looked different. They had different traditions. They had different languages. So just imagine like somebody from France being
Yeah.
attacked on the day, and the people in like I don't know, Russia. They're totally
Yeah.
different people. They're on the same landmass. They speak a different
Okay.
language.
Yeah.
Look different, but of course they're not gonna know what happened. They didn't have that or telephone. All we had was the
Oh
word.
yeah.
Yeah.
Understandable. So the people that lived on the East Coast, were they also our people too?
Yes. The east and the southeast, the Gulf area. Yes, they're
Yeah.
descendants.
Okay, because the audience is probably thinking, yeah, who are the ones that we see before us today in America? So
Hmm.
would you like to explain who they are?
Those are the people in the West. They are descendants of Siberians and other people from Mongolia and areas of Asia, paler people. So they're descendant of those people, and some of them mixed with our people. And some people in the East, they had, husbands or whatever, wives from over there. So the people
Okay.
more ancient times than now.
Say that again, sorry.
But a lot of those people from over there came here more recently. So the majority of them came over at more recent time, probably around the 1500s.
Yeah.
So when the Europeans
Okay.
were invading, when they landed on Plymouth Rock or whatever, in Jamestown, a lot of
What
our
date was that exactly?
I said when the Europeans landed on Plymouth Rock and Jamestown, a lot of our warriors
What
from
was the date?
that was like around 1600. So for like 100 years, from the 1500s, 1600, we were at war with
Okay.
those on the west, and they also invaded into Mexico, those areas down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when the English and the came in on the east, a lot of our warriors, excuse me, were on the west fighting those people still, and
Okay.
yeah, so they're different people.
So basically, there was no communication between the tribes throughout America. Well, basically, we didn't have a network of communication to know what was going on one side, say like on the West Coast, and then on the East Coast. So it was basically like you said, for 200 years, the tribe on the East side didn't really know what happened on the West side.
Yeah, yeah. Unless
So
by boat, that's the only way to know. Um, Mississippi was a good like communication channel for us. A lot of information came through the Mississippi River because they branched out to other. I don't know if you're familiar with the North America, but it branches out to the west, branches out to the east and the north, and you know, gets
okay,
people all
okay,
areas of the northern continent.
okay.
Yeah.
So Mississippi River was very vital then.
Hmm. You said Mississippi?
The Mississippi River was very vital.
Yes, it's very vital for information. We also traded food and furs and different things like that. And then the Gulf too.
Okay,
A lot of people don't know that we took boats from like the Gulf of Mexico around up to the East Coast. So a lot of
yeah,
people from Mexico to Virginia and back, the Royal class and things like that.
yeah, yeah. Because another interesting fact is the fact that pyramid building didn't start in Africa. It actually started, from what I know, from North America through to Central down to the South.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a different. because there's pyramids all around the planet, which a lot of people don't know. There's pyramids in Europe, pyramids in Asia, other
Yeah,
places. So the pyramids here are actually older and some of them bigger than the ones in Egypt. But that's not to say that Egypt
yeah, cause
are less great,
yeah,
because they're the most perfected. I
yeah.
so.
The Egyptian ones, you think? Because I've seen some of the pyramids in America, and they look quite intact still,
Yeah, yeah,
and
they
the
are.
design in them as well. Yeah, like you got the round pyramid, you got
Hmm.
the pyramid with the steps, and then you got the pillars going down, and then you got also the mounds too, and then
Yeah,
there's the pyramid. I think in Mexico, I can't remember exactly where, but it's three times the size of the pyramid in Giza in
right.
Egypt.
Yeah, I think it's the Pyramid of the Sun, if I'm correct. But a lot
Say
of
it
those,
again, sorry.
I think it's called the Pyramid of the Sun. I can't remember which one it is.
Okay.
Um, a lot of those ones in Mexico, they were actually covered with mud, dirt and mud, and it just looked like a regular hill for a long time. Um, I had no
Okay.
idea. I saw a meme by Elijah Spencer, and he kind of showed what happened. That a lot of the pyramids were covered. That's why the people didn't know about it. So a lot of those people down there are not the descendants of the people who created those pyramids. They had no idea that they were there until the Europeans started
Yeah.
in there trying to build churches and stuff on, and they found the stone under it. So
Oh yeah. 'Cause that's where the Mormon religion comes from.
the what religion?
Mormon.
Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, but the Catholics were building. They knew that there was a certain energy from those which they thought were mounds at the time, and they found out were
Yeah.
pyramids. So they wanted to build on top of it, and it also served as a symbol to people that they were dominating them because they're like, hey, we're putting our stuff on top of your stuff. We're the one
Yeah.
now. So that was the symbology.
Behind it.
Mhm.
All right. Because there's a lot of confusion with our people and our identity
Yeah.
and who we actually are. That's why I like to talk about the Washington Empire
Mhm.
and just let our people know that we are actually from an empire. It's an old ancient empire. The empire stretched from America through Europe to the Middle East to Asia, West Africa. That was the old ancient Washington Empire. And also, would you like to tell them about the empress that has the case in the Supreme Court that was actually getting back land?
Yeah, so she actually did get her land patterns for Louisiana, I believe.
Yeah.
She Empress Verde, excuse me, at the Washita. So her
Mhm.
people are the original mound builders, and they come from people who migrated from Mexico as well. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, it's a whole lot. It's a be here all day talking. I'd say I'm not the best person to speak on the Washita. Probably my friend Cheetah Pa. He is the resident historian of Washita, as well as John.
Okay.
Yes, but if you get in contact with him, maybe and talk, on your show, talk about it.
All right. All right. We can do that. So once basically the pilgrims conquered, they declared Thanksgiving for their celebration.
Hmm. Well,
Okay.
Thanksgiving thing came way later. Um,
Okay.
yeah, what they did was they had a feast, which was a tradition here, during the harvest as well. In Europe, they had their own harvest feast too. So that's basically what the Europeans did. It wasn't people came down and sat together, all that stuff that they teach you. That stuff didn't happen because people got killed, people got shot, all these things happened.
And the population were basically either murdered, enslaved,
Mm-hmm.
or mutilated, whatever. Basically, they were moved around because another thing I like to talk about is that say that the slave story is told in reverse because I've seen some information that states they actually started taking slaves from America to Spain, then to the Caribbean, then to Africa,
Yeah,
and
some
then
cases.
from Africa back to America.
Yeah, well, you see, Squanto was a perfect example of indigenous
Okay,
person being taken to Europe and enslaved. Now, slaves could be sold,
okay,
whoever bought them, they could take them to Africa or Brazil, where whoever bought the people, whoever they thought would be able to afford them. They sent the slaves. The slave was a slave. They didn't have a nation. They didn't have real identity. You just became what they called Negro at the time when you're a slave. That's all a Negro is. It's a black object, which doesn't have a nationality, personality. They didn't care. You were whatever they told you you were then. So,
okay. So,
and like I said before, when they started doing the test runs, they were taking hundreds of people um, to different places. My ancestor, known as Chief Power Wahasanaka,
yeah,
he was who were taken as a slave to Mexico and
okay,
Spain, and then back here. So
okay,
many other examples happening. And a good book that kind of breaks down all those different, test runs they did of enslavement is called The Enslavement of the American Indian by Barbara
yeah,
O'Leary. She actually shows how they would leave like a teenage boy, like a teenage European boy, with us to learn our language. And that's another way how they kind of what they call psychological profile. So they knew how to be able to manipulate people. They also saw that our
okay,
had a closer bond with children, a closer bond and love and respect with children. They did in their culture.
yeah,
So the boy was part of our family with us. He with us. He was allowed to marry someone in the tribe. So for their
okay.
advantage.
So that's how they basically got into our
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Okay, okay. That's very actually interesting because before invasion, our people had a very peaceful, loving nature,
Yeah, yeah.
and we see today
No, I was
that
gonna,
after invasion.
yeah, but see,
Say it again, sorry.
you got to realize that we were at war with each other when they started the invasion. We were at war with each other.
Okay,
Boys versus the Algonquins, so like the Bloods and the Crips, and then we also had a war with the invading Asians that were coming through. So people from Genghis Khan,
okay,
Empire, Ming Dynasty, all these different groups in Asia were in here. So
okay,
yeah, so we had all these different things going on here, and that's another way. And like you said, our nature is peaceful, love for children and things like that. They noted that in the history. So they already built that psychological profile, like I said, and they knew how to attack us.
okay. So what were we actually fighting about?
People were fighting for land, old rivals, stuff like that, like petty stuff. We all like all the people were together, the Iroquois and the the Muskogee, all these people came up through Mexico, and we split off.
Okay.
So we split off because we had differences. The Iroquois wanted this more rigid, solid government. Other people didn't want that type of government. So, and our
Okay.
The current American Constitution is basically based on the Iroquois Constitution. So you see how they
Okay.
rigid, the rigid type of government. You know, they want everything strict like that compared to other tribes. There's all these different things were going on.
Okay. Very, very actually interesting when you said that the Constitution, what's in America today, is actually based on the Iroquois Constitution,
Right.
because not many people will actually know that, and not many people will actually know that the Iroquois people are actually black people like you and I. So what we're starting to see, audience, is the fact that the people in America, the indigenous native people of America, are actually the people that they're calling African American.
Right.
So this is actually one of the lies that have actually been told to our people, and our people are actually believing that this is who we are, as in the people in America are African American rather than Aboriginal American, Indigenous American with
Mm-hmm.
inalienable rights, because we're actually indigenous to the land.
Right.
So it's actually a good topic to talk about, because we actually get to see a lot of our people hear the truth. Like a lot of our people don't actually know this as fact.
Right.
Like I say, for instance, what's going on in our with our people right now is we've got an identity crisis,
Yeah.
and there's the biggest land grab going on in history, because we're being told by the system that we're African, when in actual fact none of us actually originate from there. We originate from other parts of the earth.
Right. Exactly.
Some people originate from America, some in the Middle East, some the
Mm-hmm.
Caribbean, some Europe, obviously some African too, but that's at a later date, not what they're telling us.
Right.
So our people have got to realize that there's a lot of history for ourselves where we stand. Like I live in England.
Right.
There's a lot of black history in England that we don't know about. We believe that the royal families have always been white, when in actual fact, the royal families haven't always been white. At one point, they were black. But this is where it gets tricky now, because the way how they've changed the history, it's very sneaky.
Yeah.
Because if King James is a black Moor king,
Mm-hmm.
that would mean he's related to the people within the landmass of America. So when they say that, or when the pilgrims say, they said to the Pequot people that we're coming to do a treaty with you in the name of King James, is that actually true? Because we don't understand the nature of how England was set up here at this time.
Well, yeah, they did do. They did do. They did do a treaty, with King James. So it was
Yeah.
true, but it's like you got to realize we thought about ourselves differently. We didn't think of ourselves as a race. We thought of ourselves as,
Okay.
different governments, different nations, but we're all people of Earth, we're on the same planet. Even if we look, same or similar, we didn't see ourselves as a collective unit at that time because that was after that planetary, I guess, government or nation that we had before had already crumbled for hundreds of thousands of years. So we didn't see ourselves as this.
Okay.
James wouldn't be seen
Can we
even.
just rest there a second?
Hmm?
You know the planetary government. You know the planetary government that he's saying that we had.
That was thousands of years ago. So it, you
Yeah,
know, go ahead.
yeah, but our people have got to understand that at one point in time, yeah, we did see ourselves as one. Our people are going to know that at one point in time, we did have this planetary government where we were all unified as
Hmm.
one people. And at this time, there was, because obviously invasion had already happened.
Hmm.
Because end of the day, we got to look at the planet was invaded. This is originally a black planet, yeah.
Hmm.
No other races on the planet.
Yeah.
These are all facts.
Right. Right.
So at this time, there was just black people on
Mm.
every part of the earth and no other race around. And
Yeah.
we did have our planetary government, as Tash is saying, and we
Hmm.
were a united people. And our people have to know that we are ancient people that are millions of years old. And it's not only what's going on, what we see, there's a lot more going on to what we would take in as truth.
Right.
So we have
Yeah.
to understand that our people are being manipulated and have been manipulated for thousands of years, and it's not what we believe is actually going on today, as in the black and white situation. That's
Right.
only a cover up of the real agenda, what's really going on.
Yeah. That's just.
So I like to definitely put that out there because end of the day, our people have to understand how the world worked before other races appeared.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be rude to other races, but my people are killing each other right now, yeah, because they don't know themselves. So the real truth has to come out, and I have to put it out there. This is what I do to put the raw truth out there. So our people have to know about the planetary government, and I'm gonna actually do some shows about this because if you know anything about it, I'd love to do shows about it because at the end of the day, it's a subject that I want to delve deeply into so we can form and bring the structure forward to how the world worked before we actually got invaded. So our
Yeah.
people can have a timeline to see because that's what we need.
Yeah. That's true.
Because once our people see that, it's going to change the mentality.
Yeah. And we weren't as, I mean, we were different people, but we weren't as separated as we were now. Like people were, I think people were getting too obsessed with claiming land masses and all these, saying we're not this, we're not that. It's not really about that because in ancient time we were all the same people of one planet. It wasn't like a whole. To me, it seems crazy that we have these different categories. We're on the same planet. It's like people came from another planet. So we're essentially people of this organic people planet. Most
Mm-hmm.
but so we really need to get back first building what we have where we are, and then we can work on unifying everybody again. That's
Yeah.
possible. So
Well,
building up.
I believe it's possible, but it just goes to show how much damage has been done. I mean, there's a lot of our people that are actually celebrating Thanksgiving and they don't know that's a day they should be mourning their own ancestors.
Right.
So this just goes to show the psychological damage that's still currently within our people.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's it's a situation where today we're not able to produce together for the lack of knowledge that we have. I mean, a lot of people feast off us. We are heavy consumers. We
Hmm.
buy everything that comes out new. We don't take in what we're supposed to take in. We're not settled within ourselves. And the reason why we're not settled within ourselves is definitely because we don't know ourselves.
Right.
Like, there's probably 5% or less of our people that know yet we actually had a planetary government.
Hmm. Right.
This is information you need to know. Like the Asian know their history, the European know their history, all the other cultures of all the other races, they know their history. We are the only people that don't know our history, and you can see the chaos it's causing.
Yeah, and you see, it's a
And this
reason,
is,
like you said, because
yeah,
we were the first. We have the claim for everywhere first. So, of course, they want to have us displaced mentally so that they can control
yeah,
everything. So it comes down
yeah,
to us, you know, putting our egos aside and trying to piece the puzzle together. Because I know some people get, it's good to have pride, but also you should have pride in the expense to other people. So we got to stop this anti this person, anti that person, whatever, and focus on
yeah,
pro us. That should be
yeah.
the main. And so
That
what I'm
is definitely true, man.
yeah, so I'm trying to do now is been doing research on all different indigenous cultures around the world. So trying to put
Okay,
better on the history. So that's what I'm working on now.
okay. What place in particular are you looking at?
Right now, I'm of course looking at here, but I was also looking to what happened with the East Indian slave trade as well, because some of those people came over
Okay,
here and they came over to Africa and they came over to Europe slaves. So I feel like there's some type of missing piece with that too, because you don't really hear much story of them. The people that we see as quote unquote people from India, you don't really see that much distinction of the people who were here as slaves. When you look at the old um, script, like the runaway slave descriptions, the people look pretty much like the
okay,
people. But we know that India, their dark skinned indigenous people are not really displayed as much as other people who may be from the north or mixed in with the Mughal invaders. So yeah, that's a link right there that we can look more
yeah,
into. A lot of people
definitely.
here ancestry too. They have Indian ancestry, and those people were so-called too, that the ones that was taken over.
Okay, say that again because you broke up again. I got the last part. There were black people too.
Yeah, those a lot of those East Indians who were taken over here as slaves, so-called black people too.
Okay, okay. So another area I like to, well, I'm looking into Europe right now, as in the indigenous people of Europe, and they say it was the Grimandis, um, also the Anglo-Saxons,
Mm.
and I believe the Druids.
Druids, yeah.
Now,
The Celts too.
oh yeah,
Mhm.
um, Stonehenge is a quite peculiar place.
Yeah, that's from the
It's made of, say it again, sorry.
Druid people, right?
Oh yeah, it's made up of quartz, and where it's actually built, they say it crosses all the layer lines in the earth, cross in the center right there. So it's an actual energy portal because the energy was concentrated there with the quartz, just like how the pyramids were.
Mm.
And what else is there in England? Scotland, for instance, because
Yeah.
in Scotland there's a lot of heritage for our people for when we actually came, and our people don't actually know Scotland is, I believe, maybe one of the first places we actually touched when we came over here.
Yeah. So
Uh,
Scotland, what Queen Scotta, who's related to, was
yeah.
she a daughter from Egypt? So they have that
Say that
ancestor.
again, sorry.
Queen Scotta from Egypt. That is what Scotland
Okay.
is. I believe she was either Akhenaten's daughter or King Tut's daughter. And
Okay.
yeah, she colonized Scotland, and also Europe had the indigenous Americans colonized parts of Europe as well. The Algonquins. So if you look into
Algonquins.
yeah, Jack Forbes' book, he speaks some on that, and
Okay.
I believe Barry Field speaks about that too. But some people from different from America and Africa also colonized Europe. So we know that the people who, the paler people who were there are not originally from there. And I remember watching one of those UK comedy shows, and they had like a skit. I forget what show that was. But they had a skit about it, where the guy was like, "What was it? The black? What is it called over there? Not the Black Panther Party. You guys got over here. You got some
Um,
BBP or something."
the BBC.
Yeah, yeah, that party. Well, they were having like some type of rally, and this pale European guy was like, "Oh, I'm European," you know. They're like, "No, you're not the original European." I don't know. I gotta find that clip, but they're basically saying
Okay.
that the original Europeans were so-called black people, and you know,
Yeah.
came later, and now they're trying to act like they're indigenous to Europe, which they're not. So,
Yep. Because I believe that Europe was probably one of the first places they actually came to when they got here.
mm,
Because if you look at how Europe's just, the people in Europe just got wiped out,
mm,
wiped out, and what was left was transported out around the rest of the earth.
right. And it really comes down to a lot of mixing too.
Yeah.
People mix. See, I watch a lot of the British television, so I see on the shows. It's like some of the characters you see their features very Negroid features, but they have blonde hair and blue eyes. I think Holly Oates is that one lady. Grace, she looks like a Negro. If you
Yeah.
if you put it dark, like her nose is wide, and you can see the mixing where it occurs in Europe.
Yeah. Definitely. It's actually been an insightful show because so far, because we've covered Thanksgiving, we've covered the identity of the indigenous people, we've established that we've had a planetary government,
Yes,
we're establishing the population of Europe was indigenous and they were originally so-called black people. We, we talked about the East Indians a little bit. So we started to paint quite a nice picture for the audience of who we actually are and some of the stuff that we've actually been through on the planet right now. And
right.
I feel like a lot of people have got a different kind of insight into a different reality that they've never really heard of.
Yeah. I mean, they can look. All the stuff can be can be researched stuff. It's not like we're just, both of us can't be just making up stuff. You know. So
You know
all
what I'm
this,
saying?
I list a couple books and sources. You have too, so people can do their own research and find out the true information. All the stuff is
Yeah,
not really hidden. It's just not talked about in the school system, so people don't look it up. So
that's definitely true. You gotta actually, to me, I say to the audience, those that are really yearning to actually get to the truth of themselves, you gotta start listening to that inner voice because that inner voice wants to wake up and take you to your natural self.
right.
And that's a great way to actually start to deal with the mystery of who we are as a people because it is a mystery. What's our identity? What's actually happened to us?
Right.
Why do we still listen to these people that we don't know that
Mm-hmm.
they're called government? We've really got to start to actually have an analytical look at what we're doing and start
Right.
critically analyzing our situation because if we don't, I mean, look, you got slavery going on in Libya right now, and you've also got slavery going on in the Sudan right now. So if we actually don't start to take a look at ourselves and actually see what's going on with us, we're gonna be back in the same situation quicker than we actually think. And a lot of people are ignorant and saying, "Oh, nah, that could never happen." So okay then, if that could never happen, why is it happening in Libya? Why has it been happening in Sudan? Like it's never stopped.
Yeah.
Why is this happening? And it's starting to spread now, and other people are starting to catch attitudes of the same nature. I mean, in Europe, there was a parade through Poland where they were screaming that they want Europe to be back as a white brotherhood. Now, that's in Europe. In America, they're screaming they want to put blacks back in slavery.
Make
When
America
are
great.
people going to actually say that again?
They want to make America great again, but when was it great for everybody before they showed up?
Exactly.
So yeah,
Exactly.
cold is a cold word. Make America great again. They used to put them back in slavery, put them back under
Hmm.
rigid laws and black codes. That's what they're saying. So
Exactly. So our people have got to start to realize, yeah, this is actually serious business that we're dealing with. It's not a joke. You can carry on going to the club every weekend, partying, drinking, doing whatever it is you do, yeah. Like, it's not going to happen. You look around you, the world's changing, things are going to happen. It's
right,
about time the sensible people wake up and start to actually make the moves that need to be made to actually build up here our own system to where that can't happen to us.
right,
Because if we start to actually act as we're supposed to act, there's no way that they're gonna even think. But because we're acting as delinquents and as low class people, which could be looked onto at times as just animalistic, this is how we're acting. We're falling within the vibration of self. So we've got to start to realize this and start to raise ourselves back up into our higher states and stop living in the lower state of self, because the lower state of self is what we're living in right now, and we can see the destruction it's causing.
yeah,
And not
yeah,
only that, I feel like we got a responsibility to the planet, because when we had our government before invasion, our planetary government, the planet was great. There wasn't the issues that we've got today. So we've got a responsibility to nature, to the
yeah,
universe, to the source. So we got to start to get back on top of who we are and what we're supposed to be doing and stop being influenced by outer circumstances and letting other people put images into our minds of who we are rather than us put images into our minds of who we are, so we can show our population this is really who we are. We're not these gay folk that you see them put us up as TV. We're not that. We're not these people that are always angry and shouting. We're not that. We're not these people that are gang banging and shooting. You know what I'm saying? We can put different. That's what we need to start to do. Put different images in our people's mind. Once we can start to put different images in our people's mind, then we can actually start to control our subconscious and our psyche, rather than our subconscious and psyche be controlled by somebody else. We need to actually start to program our people again. And this is the only way we're going to be able to do anything.
yeah. I agree. Yeah, and it really comes
Because even
down
if we,
to not, taking a demonization off of everything that we do that they don't understand. They don't understand our music. They don't understand, our, love and nature and different things like that. They don't understand our sexuality. So they demonize it. Got to take that back. We got to learn it for ourselves, the truth of what we have before, we were westernized.
Yeah, we definitely got to do that, man.
Right.
It's like what our people forget is that we're spiritual people. This is what our people forget. Like, if we weren't that important and powerful, then they wouldn't spend as much as what they do in trying to hold us in the vibration that they're trying to hold us in. And if the audience doesn't all understand what I mean by the vibration, basically, what you feel is what you will create because you are a creator of your environment. So we constantly watch TV, listen to hip hop, movies, all these influences here, what project us in a certain way. We constantly watch this, a lot of us. So we constantly emit vibrations, which are that, which is why we bring these kind of circumstances into our lives. We've got to start to change the vibration that we're emitting and emit something that is spiritual and start to reconnect with our soul, which will take us back to where we need to be. And a part of that is definitely starting to know who you actually are and where you come from on the planet.
Right.
That's a big part of it because once you understand that, you're gonna know your true history. You're gonna know that you wasn't a slave. You're gonna know you was a prisoner of war. You're gonna know the full details to actually what's happened if you go and do it right. But
Mm-hmm.
the only way out for our people right now, I feel, Tash, is spirituality.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
I was just watching a lecture from Bobby Hemmett. He was talking exactly. He said exactly that. Spirituality is the only way out.
Serious.
Because people have been for years. We've
Okay.
been brainstorming. We've been trying to come up with ideas to get us out of the situation. The only way we can do that is to
Yeah.
go with and doing the old ways. This is what we used to do. So we need to get back
Yeah.
to the old.
Yeah.
And history is important as well as spirituality. The combination of the two, be unstoppable.
Yeah. It's definitely true because, all right, I say to the people, the soul knows all history. Your soul knows all history. Your soul is eternal. So what I say is this: you can't trust the information what is in this world. So you have to go within with a pure heart and seek the information. And what you'll find is that your spirituality will take you to a place where you start to see and understand, and then it will bring physical evidence and confirm what it's showing you by spirit. You got to start to learn to trust yourself. You got to start to learn to trust your spirit and know that you've got guides and ancestors and helpers around you that are there to put you back on the right path.
Right.
This is what our people are going to start looking into. And
Mm-hmm.
if you look into indigenous culture in America, you will see it's got the keys to actually do that. If you look into our indigenous cultures anywhere within the world, you will see it's got the keys to do that. We've got to start going past what they're telling us and start to actually go straight in to self.
Right, the source. Right,
Yeah,
with Akashic records. That's all that is. Yeah, but you can see from the old planetary empire that we all had that same, I guess, I don't know if you would call it religion, but we believed in the same things pretty much. Like you were
yeah,
saying, energy sources, we knew how to manipulate the energy sources. Um, we knew how to manifest things, and we also knew how to create, like you were talking about. So,
yeah,
getting like you said, getting back to the old stuff is what we need to be focusing on. We're not going to get anywhere protesting and marching, and we done already done that. We've been doing that since the 50s, 60s. We were done much. I mean, we think that it's but honestly, it hasn't really progressed as much as it should be doing. So we have to try everything. Basically, we have to.
Yeah, it's true. Because I feel marching is done. I feel
Mm-hmm.
protesting is done. It's like Dr. John Henry Clark says, when you got an orange and you squeeze out all the juice, what do you do? Do you carry on squeezing it where there's no juice, or do you change it?
Right.
Our
Mm-hmm.
people need to start changing the orange that we're squeezing because there's no juice left in it. It doesn't do anything for us. And the fact that as living in 2017, we're doing this as adults again, it stands as a testament to our mentality as a
Yeah.
people and where we are today.
Yeah.
Because
What's it?
basically,
You keep doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same result. It's called insanity, and we're insane
exactly,
right now. We really are. We're doing the same thing.
exactly, exactly. And this is the problem. Like, this is even why I even concentrated on the black woman in the first place because she's the actual source of the black community. So if the source is, let's say, cloudy, then what the source produces is also going to be cloudy.
Right.
Hence why we've got the situation that we've got right now. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like women in America understand that a little bit more than women in England. It's like
Mm-hmm.
in England, our women will hide from the fact of the real reality of the situation. Very defensive, very deflective. I found American women are more open to, you know what, yeah, we've got to change. We've actually got to start to do something different. And
Right.
for me, in England, I had to like shake our people up because we're sleeping.
Yeah.
And until we wake up, nothing ain't gonna change for us. Like we're just going on the hamster wheel, round and round and round, doing the same old thing.
Yeah.
So we have to get our people to realize who we are. So I started doing it by making them realize what they're doing. So I termed the black woman as a modern day slave master to simply show that you are the source of the black community. Now, what you're teaching the boy and the girl is continuing this cycle.
Yeah.
Now, personally, from my own inner feelings, I believe during the time of captivity, it was the black woman that was actually keeping the black family in control on the plantation. And
Mm-hmm.
really and truly, you can still see it today because it is the black woman that keeps the family in line on the plantation, which is wherever we're living at. So this is why our women have to know their role and their importance because end of the day, although we live in a patriarchal society, without the
Mm-hmm.
woman, no man could get here.
Yeah.
So our women have to be put back in their rightful position. And once they start to realize the damage that they're actually helping to do
Right.
and starts to change it, then we can give them the definite respect that they deserve and the protection and put ourselves back in that system. But until our women realize, well, hold up, yeah, we actually bring all this to earth. These are our creations because they are produced inside of the woman. Until the woman realizes this, we're not gonna go nowhere. Like I state, our societies before invasion were patriarchal and matriarchal because we have balance.
Yeah.
Now we've had men leaders, but we haven't yet had the great women leaders that we need. And this is why our women need to get it together and start to realize that unless we start to pay attention to really what's going on, we're going to be in a bad situation very soon.
Yeah, and that, that goes back to the fall of the planetary empire because that was matriarchal. So when the woman fell, that's when the unity fell. Now, if you go watch the new movie Justice League, it's basically talking about that. Um,
Serious.
yeah, with the Amazons, they have all these different people, and when the people unified, they defeated the evil. And when they didn't unify, that's when all the evil came back. So the
Okay.
Amazons and Wonder Woman focusing, coming into her leadership role was a major part of them, you know. Well, I don't want to give away her coming into her leadership role and not holding back and not being passive. Like a lot of women, we subconsciously do that. Her coming into her alpha woman status, basically,
Okay.
the game. It really changed everything, and that's something that needs to be happening. Everyone come back into their strength. A lot of us, we, due to religion, due to different political bodies and things, we all put someone else. We look for a leader, and we put other people before us when we need to be focusing on ourselves as leaders. All of us are leaders. All of us are important pieces of the puzzle. So we need to come back and realize that and stop giving our power away to other people. And once everyone realizes that they are powerful and they are, we need everything. You need like your body needs you. You need all your fingers. You need all your toes. You need everything to function as one unified body. That's when we're going to progress.
Definitely. Well, I feel like the only people that can bring this unified body is the woman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm a man, yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, we can't do that as men, and I'll prove it here with logical evidence. The woman births us all, therefore she has a connection with all of us that a man will never have. So she has an influence over all of us that basically we will adhere to. And that influence is that unification, that planetary system. That is what the woman will bring. And
Mm-hmm.
this is what we need our women to realize.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, the man is here only to protect the woman and to do other jobs and to
Right.
keep the race going. This
Yeah.
is why in slavery they decided to target the woman. They destroyed the man
Mm-hmm.
and held the woman in emotional captivity. Yes, I know the man was held in emotional captivity, but right now I want to concentrate on the key, which is the woman. How they're in emotional captivity, they changed from a logical thinking woman to a emotional thinking woman, and this is what we're seeing the results of right now here today.
Mm-hmm.
And our women have got to get back to being feminine and thinking logically because, as we're saying, unless our women start to realize what's going on, we ain't going nowhere because the only way this planetary government can return is through the black woman. That is it.
Yeah. And it really comes down to us as women getting out of survival mode. That's the difference between us and other groups of women is that we are constantly in survival mode and we can't, you know, I know people complain about us not being as feminine and this and that because we're in warrior mode right now. We're that's not our natural. I mean, we can do that if we need to do it, but being in survival mode, people are doing, they're not thinking logically, we're thinking emotionally. We're thinking what we're going to do to survive. Even if they want to make it, open weapons, make billions of dollars, they still come from that place in survival mode. Like she was poor and she had issues with sexual abuse and things like that.
Yeah,
That's what we're dealing with here. And we need to be healing. Men need to play too. The men, we need to feel protected by the men, not like we're weaklings, but knowing that we have an ally. Like we have a lot of people like Tommy Sotomayor and these other people who are making campaigns against their own women, talking negative, and all that stuff needs to stop. Yes, some people need to be responsible for the foolishness they're doing, but to call out everybody, and make it like these, like you're just throwing your women away in the trash. That doesn't help anything. If you're talking about these issues, it should solve it, not to humiliate people. So we're dealing with everyone needing to come in to themselves, and especially the women, because we're teaching these behaviors to the next generation, and
Yeah,
we have let this go far, the disrespect and you know all this other stuff going on with each other. It has to stop.
definitely. I feel like we've done so mad because I actually watch a lot of Tommy. Oh, we used to watch a lot of Tommy. Don't watch him. Yeah, because to be fair, Tommy raises some very, 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 very relevant points, and all right, then the fact that we recognize our people are insane.
Yes, yes,
You need a
yes.
man like Tommy
Mhm.
to break our people out of the insanity because if we're insane and we keep doing the same thing, no matter what the result is, like people die,
Mhm.
people get in prison, we keep doing the same thing. So, in order to wake people up here, you got to hit them hard. And I agree with no, I do agree with how he does what he does because, end of the day, our people, and he doesn't target everybody. And this is the thing what commonly a lot of people misjudge. He don't target everybody. He states the symptom, and all he does is put black woman in front of the symptom or after, and it's the black woman that fits that symptom. It's not the black woman that doesn't fit that symptom. It's just the black woman that fits that symptom. I've seen Tommy do one-on-one shows with girls that were molested, raped, and they say that he's helped them. I've seen people post videos stating that Tommy's helped them. I've seen Tommy do counsel. He does one-on-one sessions counseling, and for me, for where I've been in my life, Tommy actually helped me deal with what I was going through just by watching him. Because as with the behavior of women, I could put together different missing pieces that I had. Because obviously, for myself, I've seen the behavior within women was wrong, and that's within my own family, and this is what I was dealing with as a youngster. So seeing that now, yeah, and trying to deal with it, watching Tommy, I started to understand more, as well as the girlfriend I've got, the woman I've got right now. She helped me also to understand that kind of behavior in a woman. So when Tommy's doing what he's doing, he's actually not doing it to shame or degrade.
You
Well, I
sure?
say this, he's actually doing it to shame our women out of their behavior. This is what I believe.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe he is trying to shame people out of it. I think, to be honest, when he first came out, like probably was it 10, 12 years ago. I think he was genuine, but now, if this is my opinion, I think he's kind of playing up to the drama, and it's becoming
Okay,
that he's humiliating people, poor white women, quote unquote. That because he's done, like, before he didn't used to do that. Now I haven't watched him recently, but the last time I watched him probably was a year or two ago. He was bragging
okay,
his Russian girlfriend or wherever she was, and then he was trying to humiliate American, women. So he has his own issues, and I know where he's coming from. Tommy has issues with sexual abuse. He was abused by an overweight black woman with a wig or whatever. So that's why he talks about overweight black women with wigs bad, because he's had issues with that in his life. I can
okay,
understand coming from, but the delivery and the way he's doing, I think he could do it in a different way. He doesn't have to humiliate people. And I understand he probably has rage in him, and all these different things. But you can go about, pointing out, making people accountable for the destruction that they're doing, without humiliating other people who aren't not, because he's lumping all of us together. Like a woman could put the child in the oven or something, he's gonna be like, all so-called black women are crazy and this and that, which is not the case. Women who do that need to be accountable for doing that. But to say all are bad, I'm not just saying in the all lives matter way, but it needs to be addressed. But then everyone else doesn't need to be humiliated. That's basically what I'm saying. I can.
I understand that.
Yeah, you understand. And like I said, when he first came out, he was really, talking, issues. But I really think he's kind of playing up to cameras now a little bit. So, and I, the disrespect, and I can't agree with that. So if he's going to make certain, he can't, as a man, you can't just go around and making only women accountable. You need to call these men out too. And that should be his main goal, is to call the men out on their behavior, because he is a man. So he can, him being coming from that same perspective, I think it'll be more effective if he did that. So
Okay.
if I saying men are doing this and this and that, it's gonna look like I'm bashing. Even if certain people, groups of people are doing things like that, it looks like you're attacking. Especially when you're coming with calling people hat hairs and what is all these crazy. I mean, some of the terms is, I don't know. They've taken on a life, beasties and all this. I mean, come
But,
on. I see helping somebody calling them a beastie, and uh, these names.
but you see, this is the thing, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like this is why we haven't got anywhere as a people yet. The Most High gave us labels to give names things to, so we know what is what and what we're doing is right or wrong. Right now, I feel like a lot of our women don't like their behavior being labeled. They don't like to know what they're actually doing is actually wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
the hair hat situation, I agree with him, man, because I do. And I'll tell you why. I got actual spiritual reason why. All right, check it. I'll go with my hair, yeah? This
Mm-hmm.
is like an antenna. All right. The energy that's flowing through me right now is electromagnetic, same as the sun. So I receive energy, yeah, and information from the cosmos. Now, if I've got my head covered constantly, I'm not receiving the energy correctly. Therefore, my thinking is actually going to be affected by this. This is just simple science because
Yeah.
it conducts energy,
Mm-hmm.
and our women don't understand this.
But
I tell you this for instance, yeah.
it's the
Like, let
way
me say one thing, yeah.
it's the way he's humiliating people, and the people, women might have hair like you under their wigs and whatever, so they might just be wearing it for one day or whatever. But to like make a whole term up and continuously humiliate people is a little too much, in my opinion. That's all I'm saying.
Now
It's
I
like,
understand that.
I understand what you're saying. You're coming to from a different view, but him, I don't know what his intentions are. You come out of intention of love for the people. Tommy, I don't know. I can't I can't condone the it's a lot. It's a lot with him. That's all I'm saying.
Now
I got your point of
I
view.
understand that.
Tommy, I don't think he's all the way with what you're saying. That's all.
He may not be, but I feel like
But that's good that
regardless of
you're taking something
say
positive.
that again, sorry.
I said that's good that you're taking a positive message from what he's putting out, and that's what it's about. You know, eating
Yeah.
getting out the bones. You don't have to take on the negative side of what he's saying. It's it's about all the people being accountable. I can understand that. You know.
Hmm. And I really, okay, people have complained to me about my delivery and how I've delivered information regarding the black woman. But this is why I've done it the way I've done it. As I said to you earlier, in England, our people deny that we've actually got the problems that we've got. So, based on me knowing that when I've tried to ever hold a black woman accountable for something that's gone wrong, it's always an argument. Like, black women don't like take responsibility for a lot of things. And these are the ones that I know personally in my life. I don't
Yeah.
know many black women in my life that like to take responsibility. And when I talk to men,
Hmm.
they say the same thing. So it gave me the conclusion that, okay, then there's no point in trying to talk to them and appeal to their sensitive sides. There's no point. Not at all. Might as well talk directly to their soul. Might as well
Well,
override the whole system and talk directly to their soul. So I deal with them, let's say this way. I've dealt with things just ruthlessly because it's needed. Like the black woman being the modern day slave master, I did that for a reason, like I say, not to hurt them, to make them realize that look what you're doing. If you are the modern day slave master, that means how much control and influence have you got over your community? This is why I state what I state. All right, Tommy had the hair hat, yeah, but I called it a raccoon hat because yeah, I did.
well, I would say this. It comes down to, like I said, we're in survival mode. We're in attack mode. We're in warrior mode. So when people are coming with complaints and things, some people take it as an insult, like they're being attacked. It's a certain
I
way that
understand.
you can. Yeah, that's why you're getting the attitude or defensiveness because we are constantly being attacked. We are constantly not feeling protected. Or, historically, you can see going back to the Pequot Wars, you saw that they took the sent the warriors away, and the women and children were kept there on their own land, enslaved. They don't know they're protected. They don't know what's going on. They're being attacked. You know,
Yeah, I
spiritually.
understand.
So
Hmm.
their own men come to them with complaints. It feels like okay, so we're spinning our wheels here. We're trying to keep up with the Joneses, basically, in a sense. We're trying to keep up the
Yeah,
work. And when we come home, we're hearing complaints. So it's like, are we not good enough in that sense? Why are we always getting attacked? Now nobody is perfect, but it seems like in our community, our men complain a lot more than other groups of men complain. So,
I can actually tell you why that is because our
okay.
men, yeah, have to fight to be a man.
Mhm.
All right. So when you're in a situation where you gotta fight to be a man, you're gonna have a lot of complaints because you can't even be you yet. And our women need to realize that there's men out here, yeah, that wanna be men for a start. And for the men that wanna be men, yeah, respect that. If you get a woman, sorry, if you get a man as a woman that truly, really wants to be a man, don't give him that headache. Well, you shouldn't be giving anybody a headache, really and truly, because it's about coming down to being settled and happy within yourself. This is what
Right.
it actually comes to being about. And a lot of our women, for whatever reason, just like the men, are not happy within themselves. And unless our women start to open up and talk about
Yeah.
what's really going on with them, as in everything, the real truth, again, we're not going to be able to help. You
Yeah,
know,
that's right. We need to be.
I got this
Don't need to be. Yeah.
yeah, I got this spoken word piece that I wrote, yeah, and I
You
think
know,
it's
how
quite
people
fitting.
back on
Yeah.
heads are.
All
Yeah,
right,
how
then.
people heads.
All right. This is how it goes. If you don't know what you're doing is wrong, how are you gonna stop? You might want to move forward, but the reality is you can't. If you don't know what you're doing is wrong, how are you gonna stop? The answer is you can't. Stop yourself from falling, going around in circles, stumbling on the hurdles, operating on emotions of hurt, anger, distrust. This separates us all. Underneath the surface of that muscle up smile lies all this pain. So I labeled all the behavior, hoping you'll become your savior because there's no one here to save us but ourselves. These are the facts. We don't have a system in the physical world. We have our system in the spiritual world. We are spiritual people disconnected from source, moving out of tune. Look around your room. How long are you going to run from your inner self? That's the path to salvation. Step out of the darkness and come into the light. Into the light. Black woman, let go of your hurt. Today's a new day. It's the day your healing journey starts. Tell your truths in a pure heart. Realize you and your sisters have led the same lives, just on different paths. Learn self-love and watch your sisterhood start. It's easier to heal together than it is to heal apart. Let destiny take charge. You were taught unpure behaviors long ago, so I had to call them out because I'm like, yo, where the hell are the queens at? You know those queens where they're like just beams from your soul, making you all just look like black. I mean, making you all just look like gold. Excuse me, black gold. I might have to put you back in your place. I know how strong and hard-headed you all are, so I had to come hard. Only like the one could. There's a saying: "Who feels it knows it," and that is something that I put together myself because I just felt to.
Yeah, that's good. Exactly what we were talking about too, right?
Yeah, so I thought I'd read it basically to go with what we're actually talking about right now.
Yeah. Um,
Like,
yeah, but comes to people being defense, being on defense mode, the survival mode. So
yeah,
you understand that, you understand where they're coming from, and it goes all the way back to stuff, colonization, all the stuff that's happened,
yep,
both of them.
does.
Yeah, so like you said, the men not feeling like be a man. But when you're in this westernized, this Western system, you know, the men of color, of course, feel that way. So,
And this is why we gotta get the attention of our women any way we can. And
yeah,
this is the problem now because this has gone on for too long. So I feel any way we can get the attention of our women, it has to be done. All options have to be explored, no matter how hurtful or painful. All options have to be explored right now because, as I said earlier, they're putting black folk in slavery in Libya, and it's been going on in the Sudan, and it ain't stopped. So right now, all avenues have to be explored, no matter who's got issue with it or who's got a problem with it. Because right now, yeah, we got to get together as a people. Definitely got to do that, man.
yeah,
And this is what I feel like. For me, the black woman is like Superwoman, but she doesn't know it. And
mm-hmm.
I need to get her to know that she's Superwoman. I can't just tell her, oh, you're Superwoman. I had to get her to look at her insides first, yeah, so she could clean herself out, yeah, so she can become Superwoman. Once she becomes Superwoman, that planetary government, she can then return to the earth. It cannot be done through the black man. If it could be done through the black man, Marcus Garvey would have did that.
Right. Yeah,
Simple, it would have been done.
right.
Malcolm X would have did that. Dr. Martin Luther King would have did that. Any of the black leaders that we've had, like Malachi York, would have did that. Like lots of different people that have been done great things for our people, men would have did that. But only the woman can, because the woman is connected. She is the source.
Mm-hmm.
We are the mental projection of the black woman's mentality.
Yeah.
And we can't get away from that. So what's going on in the community is simply what's going on in the black woman's mind.
Mm-hmm.
Until she changes her mind state, we're not going to go nowhere. Look at all the wars we've been through. I mean, look at Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a part and parcel of why we're here today talking. Because people have been...
A lot of women are the reason that we are actually celebrating this horrific holiday. It is a major part of it. A lot of people go to eat because they don't want to upset their mother, great grandmothers, their aunts. We're continuing this bloody feast. We need to change the holiday around. You know, that's what I tell everybody: Happy Harvest Day. We need to actually harvest, and that should be the focus, not Thanksgiving. Because what, you know, who's supposed to be the ones thankful in that whole situation? You know,
Exactly.
hurt, enslaved, and raped and killed, and you know, it's nothing to be thankful about. So we the women have to change the holiday, have to change how we're operating in the system, because we're teaching that to the children. And, you know, the men's gonna follow the women because you know they're thinking,
Exactly.
get women. You know, they're gonna get women attracted to, so there's certain things following the women. So us women,
Exactly.
in a sense, not dominating the men, you know, in a sense of that they're inferior or whatever the feminist, you know, but to take back our leadership roles. You know,
Yep.
that balance, like we were saying earlier. We used to, in the tribe, we had a war chief, had a peace chief. The peace chief were the women. Peace chiefs were always women. War chiefs men. So that was the balance right there. It didn't matter who was, you know, the head chief. You know, if it was male or female, always had balance. So we need to get back to symbolically.
Exactly. I think it's beautiful the way how you just said that the peace chief was always the woman and the war chief was always the man, because that just stands to a testament to why the world is in war right now.
They had to get the
This is it.
peace chief to declare war. The woman had to say, "Okay, we're going to war" for it to happen.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the dynamic that we need to get back to. Our people gotta understand our women and the importance of the woman. Like the woman is the oracle.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have male oracles too, but
Right.
the woman is more in tune with that vibration of
Mm-hmm.
naturally. So I could see the perfect sense why the woman will give the order that we're gonna go to war, and not the man, because the man is like, "What? Who are you talking to? War." But the
Right.
woman now, yeah,
Right.
she'll think more. And now, yeah, I see where the strategy came from,
Yeah.
because it would have been the women that would have been doing the battle planning and the strategy planning, and then the men go out and implement that.
Yeah.
I see now, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see what's going on. Yeah, I feel like it's actually when you start to get into the depths of our history and the dynamic, and you actually explore the matriarchal, patriarchal systems that we had, you start to see. why things are exactly the way how they are today on the planet. And this is what our people need to know. For the new audience that's just joined us, we've spoken about how Thanksgiving. Well, first of all, yeah, we identified who the indigenous people are of America, who they were talking about were Indians, and those people are black folk like me and Tash. Then we spoke about the wars that led up to it and the enslavement. Then we spoke about the indigenous history of Europe and the East Indian slave trade a little bit. And then we came to talk about what I do in talking about the black woman and why, which has brought us to this very interesting point in the conversation where we're starting to identify the matriarchal role of the woman and why the woman is actually so important. And really and truly, I think it's actually beautiful because our women need to know their historic value, and our women need to know, yeah, why we are in the way how we are today, and why only the women can return the planetary government that we once had, and not the men, because the men cannot do it. As I said earlier, if the men could do it, Marcus Garvey would have did it,
Right.
Dr. Martin Luther King would have did it, or Malcolm X, or any of them. We got powerful sisters like Tasha X, and a lot of other sisters like Sister Shazarahad Ali, and other sisters. We need more women like these women to take control and start spitting them jewels because, as Tash said, men follow women. It's that simple.
Right.
So whatever you women are raising the bar to, that's what we as men are gonna aspire to. And truth be told, at the moment, the bar is not very high at all. Matter of fact, the bar's on the floor. Like the ladies need to pick up the bar. It is though. Like I told you, yeah.
It is really
I'm ruthless with this. I'm actually ruthless with this because anyway, yeah, we can get our people, especially the women, to see who they are and
Right.
what they need to do. I'm on it. Like anyway, because like I say, we got slavery going on in Libya right now, and it's been going on in Sudan. So I ain't really got time to play and care about people's feelings and emotions because feelings and emotions don't solve nothing. All it does is hold a blockage. And because of all these feelings and emotions is why we're in chaos also. So I'm definitely asking our women to pick the bar up off the floor and raise it high above your heads. So we as men have something to work for. I'm asking our women to step back into the divine nature. This is what I want to see. I want to see our women step back into their divine nature. And anyway, I can help make that happen. I'm doing it. Like, trust me, I'm down. I've been down. I'm doing this thing there. So for the women that feel like I'm bashing black women, it ain't that at all, because it's not about that. But anyway, we can get our women to see how they're holding us in this situation right now. Yeah, I'm exploiting. I'm taking it to public, which I've been doing, which is why they started to block me on Facebook, because I've been in a lot of people's minds and I still am in a lot of people's minds right now. And this is why I'm doing it. Like, I feel like this show has actually started to piece together everything what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm actually happy with the way how this show, like this show for me has probably been the best show that I've done, to
Oh,
be fair.
thank you. Yeah.
Now, because we've got to talk about some historical evidence,
Right.
and we also got to talk about our people, and we've got to tie the two together. Now, the way how I started this year, I started off from a historical point, and then I just got to the behavior,
Yeah.
and I wanted to join them back together now. Yeah, so I've got to do that with this show. So I'm happy that we got to show the significance of the woman.
Right.
Like you say, she's Wonder Woman, she's Superwoman, but at the moment, our women don't recognize that they are this.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to work on,
Right. Yep.
definitely. But like I say, I think it's been a great show, man. Like really, really, really great show. Like I'm
Oh,
always happy to have you. Like
I can't believe
say that again.
we've been talking for close to 2 hours. What, an hour and a half?
Actually, yeah, we have.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's a good show.
definitely, definitely a good show, man. Lots of topics covered. To the audience around the world, thank you for watching. Because end of the
Thank
day, we've had a great show. We've had a decent audience. I'm sure we've had lots of comments. And like I say, this is Tasha X. Now, she for me is a great
you.
woman that has been now. Because like I said, a lot of the things that I was being shown, you confirmed. I said this on the last show, and you still continue to confirm things till this very second. So I've got to give you props for that because we need more black women like yourself doing this. So I definitely got to give you props for that because end of the day, the history that you know is very significant. And once we get to break it open properly, it's gonna start to piece together everything. I mean,
Too.
we've got to link up with your people,
Yeah, yeah. So
your Washington people.
I'll get my YouTube together soon, so I'll be able to talk about these topics, and then also show the history and the culture, the food and things that we have lost around the world. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll main focus being on America and the islands. So yeah,
See, I'm looking forward to that.
thank you.
Nah, definitely am because, again, like you said, you spoke about diet. It's very important for our people to know what our diet is
Yeah.
because this is another reason to why we got a lot of disease going on with us right now and why a lot of us are overweight and some of us have just got lots of different problems. It's because of the diet, the food that we eat, and the food that we eat, obviously, coupled with the emotional turmoil that we're in, is messing us up as well. So I actually can't wait for you to actually start to document the food that we ate. So I myself can get well. I just ask you.
Hmm.
I message you and find out what food we used to eat. But for the other people now, when they get to see the food we used to eat as well, they can take on that diet. But I want to take on that diet as soon as possible because I want to get myself in tip top shape so I can continue to do what I need to do.
So to start is to eliminate the stuff that we didn't eat, like dairy. That's that's one of the main things that's causing obesity and diabetes, and a lot of us are naturally lactose intolerant too. So
Yeah,
dairy our system way off. And so the Thanksgiving food, the soul food are basically interchangeable. Besides macaroni and cheese, which is like the only dish that really came about during slavery. So that came about in Virginia and Thomas Jefferson's plantation. The women there,
okay,
both indigenous and African women who lived there, created macaroni and cheese
okay.
using the cheese from Europe. I don't know where the macaroni comes from. Asia. I don't know
Maybe
where.
I think it's Italy pasta in it. It's
Yeah,
pasta,
and
so Italy probably.
something like, well, yeah. In Italy, a lot of their stuff from here because the tomatoes indigenous
Yeah,
to a lot of their ingredients come from America, and spices from India and whatever. But yeah, so
yeah,
that is like the only dish which is not indigenous, and it's not really that good for you. You eat macaroni and cheese, I suggest only a limited portion. Like I used to only eat it during the holidays.
okay,
So, they have alternative. You can eat vegan macaroni and cheese. It's really the cheese in it that's really bad for your arteries and other. Excuse my
yeah.
voice. I had a cold.
It's all right.
Cranberries is something that we had. We drunk cranberry juice that's indigenous to America. Of course, turkey is indigenous to America. We ate turkey. Uh, let me see what else. the style of making the greens or the beans with like a turkey leg and things, smoked turkey in it. The style of putting that meat in there or the oil to preserve it is an indigenous style of cooking. Frying the food, which
Okay.
bad is what we have been doing here for thousands of years. Now, what the frying does, like you fry turkey or chicken or whatever. Well, chicken's not indigenous, but turkey is. You fry that food with the
Yeah.
flour or what it does is preserves the food. Now, before refrigeration, that food would have
Okay.
spoiled. But now that you fried it, you'll be able to keep it for, a couple of weeks, like if you're traveling or whatever.
Okay.
People who
Okay.
are traveling take with them fried turkey and cornbread and things like that with that and that those greens in a pot with that turkey in it so that it wouldn't spoil and we keep it for a while before refrigeration. So stuff like this unhealthy and things was purpose for it. Now I don't people didn't
Okay.
what day. It was, certain days if you ate it. That's not healthy, but the way that they ate it and the way they prepared it, there was purpose. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's stuff that we ate. What else? Like I said, the cornbread, same stuff that we use. You make grits. Grits is an indigenous. You can just go down the list of or indigenous. So
Yeah.
on the list, soul food, sweet potato America actually brought to Africa. Sweet potato.
Okay.
Yeah, but they have a yam already, but actual sweet potatoes that people actually cook with was brought from here. Um, the way like a barbecuing food is indigenous
Yeah.
American heat and barbecue sauce, tomatoes, and so it's different. It's food that you actually like to eat, but that was what we used to eat. So it's going to be more conducive to your body. It's more indigenous to their land, and it's already in your genetic memory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I definitely like my rice and peas.
right. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
I
So
definitely like my rice and peas.
yeah, the wild
So
rice. Yeah, that's stuff that you can't get that anywhere else because you know beans came from here. So yeah,
yeah.
it's also a high carb diet too. I get the warning. So if you want to eat that, you will have to be more active. So when
Yeah.
people start being more active, it'll give you a lot of energy. That was what it seemed like if you look at stuff, it seems like people just threw stuff together, but there was the science to everything that we did back in the day because that's how we survived. You know,
Yeah.
so a
Yeah.
high diet, if we're on the go, we're running, we're hunting, or the women, going to do farming work and things like that, we needed that to get us going. So yeah,
Okay.
we had ginger teas, we had all types of tea, herbs, and that would
Okay.
clean out your blood and your system. So having juice and having peace. It's a good combination.
You know what I think? I think you should do? Write a book on dieting because
I,
nah, I seriously do because
I'm actually a certified personal trainer, so I do have that background. So that's a good idea.
see,
Yeah. Good
see,
idea.
yeah, write a book on dieting, yeah, and use me as your guinea pig,
Okay.
yeah, because it's gonna be actually good, yeah, to see that book appear and to see our people actually see that what, all right then, this is our original food,
Right.
and this is why we used to eat this
Right.
food, and this is what it can do for us, and then just like the African Holistic book.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we should do a Indigenous American holistic book
Mm,
that actually breaks down the American side of it.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would definitely be good. Definitely.
Great.
I support I support you do that and anything else that you do,
Okay, I
to
appreciate
be
it.
fair.
Give me a lot of ideas
Yeah,
and
man.
last show ideas. So
Oh,
yeah, I'm
that's
putting
good.
it together. I just like I move so slow because it's kind of like I gotta spiritually be, into it at the time. I can't just do stuff. So I'm gonna get
Yeah,
there.
definitely, man. It's for me, it's about that keeping aligned because you have a lot of different things that happen every day, and
Yeah.
sometimes things happen and you just get off balance and you don't even notice you're off balance because you just swept away into it rather than, all right, noticing this is some energy I don't really want to deal with, so I'm not going to take it on. Like something I recently discovered as well. The words you use actually invites energy into you.
Mm.
And this is why I'm very more careful about now, yeah, or I'm learning to be rather very more careful about how I react to people that's bringing me bad energy.
Yeah.
Because if I start looking back at them, I'm gonna have that feeling in me that I don't want. So I'm definitely trying to learn how to keep that energy away from me so I can stay more aligned and more in tune and do what I'm doing rather than always trying to be battling this energy which is dominating the planet at present.
Yeah.
So a lot of meditation. I encourage you to do a lot of meditation and just keep yourself aligned and spiritually protected. That should definitely assist you in doing what you need to do.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
Definitely, man. All right, then. Have you got anything else you want to talk about?
No, anyone have any questions in the chat room? I see a lot of conversation. I
All
can't.
right, let's see what we can find. Um, Somebody says Cortez killed 8 million people. He picked up a dude in Cuba who had the pox, and that was said by Brian Toby Mekon.
Oh wow, I believe it.
Then we had, let me see. All right, my cousin Philip said, Heidi, yo, shout out to Philip Clark. Then we had Marnita Gibson saying hello. Hi, Marnita. Yes, Marnita, this is live now, and the guest is Tasha X.
Tasha She.
Sorry, Tasha She. Sorry. See, because I'm not in America, I
I
don't know how to pronounce their names and stuff, but I will soon enough.
no people in America
See.
pronounce it that way. They say Tasha X.
Oh, do they?
I think
Okay.
I thought they were teasing me, like a Malcolm X. Because people seem to think I'm teasing. I'm just trying to help.
Nah, it's actually.
Yeah, I'm just trying to help people. I'm not trying to hurt nobody.
I understand that.
Right. Any
And then
questions? I messed my camera up.
um, Marnita Gibson says, "Is anyone currently or working on claiming Indigenous status?" And I could say I know a few people in England that are currently doing that, and I
Oh, okay.
myself is currently doing that myself.
In
It's a long
England?
learning process. Yeah. I got friends that are currently, as we speak, working on this. So here we are, and I know there's groups in America like Tasha She. Her group is definitely whether your people have already got their indigenous status.
No. Some people are,
Not yet.
yeah, some people are under the BIA, but most people aren't. They're just citizens.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, you got any ideas? No. I'm still trying to figure it out myself, like what to do about that. So I can't really give
Um,
advice. Yeah.
the thing I say for our people is this. I believe that our identity, or part of our identity rather, because I don't exactly know how our empire worked, as in how all the names worked and what the names meant. But from what I do know, from what they're trying to hide our Hebrew history.
Mm.
Now, when I reason why I say that is because, as I said in the last show, the royal family in England claims that, and obviously the banksters that run the world, Jews, they also claim that too. And if you
Mhm.
try to look up the Hebrew history, you can't find that. So everybody gets their greatness when they come to Israel, which is Yehuda. So we got to go back to that center right there because that is where really and truly the power is and all the answers lie.
The
That's what
language.
I believe anyway. Pardon?
Yeah. I think some of this hidden history is hidden in that language, the Hebrew
Oh
language,
yeah, you're right.
Old Phoenician
Because
language.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
one of my friends told me that the Hebrew language is basically a soul language. It was the first language spoken on the earth, which is a language of the soul. And you know something I really want to address, yeah? The Hebrew language is not obscure. Each word or sound or vibration means that. Now, the English language is very obscure. One word can mean have three or four or five different meanings. What I'm saying is this: the English language is a language of liars. Any language that has no, I'll tell you straight.
are you
Any
right? That's
language that has
yeah.
yeah, any language that has more than one meaning for a word is a language of liars,
Yeah.
and that's simple. And this is what we've got to understand as a people. I mean, I remember one story. There's a guy working on a construction site. He must have found and hit his head, went into a coma,
Oh,
woke up now speaking this language that nobody could recognize. There was an old Jewish rabbi walking past here and says, "Oh, he's speaking ancient Hebrew."
wow.
Now, yep, this is just proof. Like our people are suffering from amnesia
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. It's probably just
So we
genetic memory. Because how else would
exactly
someone else in his family have to speak it?
say that again. Sorry.
I said, how else would he know that language? Someone else in his family had to have spoken that in the past. So
Definitely,
there's a whole bunch,
definitely, it's true.
you know, yeah.
Definitely.
Asking about paper
All
genocide.
right, then. Pardon?
I'm trying to read this question. Who said, if they did
Okay.
genocide, why do we have to do more paper? Can't they just do the same with that? um, paper genocide, I think that's is different than status paperwork. Paper
Yeah.
genocide, whole people, like the whole thing that we're talking about is the people being erased and given a new identity. So based on that, um, our current status is different from what it was like 200 something years ago.
Yep.
So um, I can't really tell you about correcting stat. I'm not qualified in that subject. So
All right. I can answer this. Basically, what it is this: our identities have been stolen, and once our identities have been stolen, they can lay claim to our estates. Now, you're asking if they did paper genocide to us, Why do we have to do more paper genocide? Can't they just do the same with that?
Right.
No, because once we come into being and into knowledge and declaring that we are this people and we are alive, we know our identity. So the only way they could do the same thing again to us is by putting us back in chains and making us forget our identity, which is what they did to us in the first place. So what we need to do is we need to come together as a people, declare our customs. You know, okay, no show yet because I actually got a text from a friend today. Yeah, actually starting to arrange this. Yes, funny enough, yeah. I can't read it now because obviously I'm broadcasting on my phone and it's in WhatsApp. But on the next show, yeah, I will definitely read out what he's saying that we need to start to be gathering together. He's saying we need to get our customs together so we can clearly identify our common law customs, which we will be ruled by, we shall rule ourselves by, and be judged by. Right now, we are being judged by somebody else's common law customs,
Right.
which are not ours. So we have to do this on paper because, for instance, in the UK, we all identify to the UK government by implied rights. Consent makes contract, contract makes the law. So all these statutes and acts and all these codes in America, they need consent to gain the force of law. When you go into court, because you are tricked into changing, or because you are tricked into a standing that is less of a man or a woman, you take on the title of defendant when really and truly your title is either man or woman because that is your standing. It's all about what role you're playing, and you have to know how to play your role. I'm currently learning how to play my role. I don't know fully how to play this role yet. I have people around me that do. I'm currently learning myself. I do know this. I identify myself as a non-resident of the UK, non-UK resident. That is how I identify myself. So it's very clear when I'm dealing with government that I am not in their jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what it's about. This is why trust law is a big part of this now. Because trust law, I believe, or the law of treaties, which is trust law, is the highest law of the land. Now, through ourselves and through our ancestors, we have treaties already in place that if we knew our identity, we could fall under them. So this is what we've got to actually start to actually get into and start to realize who we are. Because obviously, on the flip side now, our ancestors knew this was going to happen to us. So obviously, there were things put in place for this time. So all we've got to do is start to identify who we are and come together as a people. Once we can do this, come together as a people, we can declare who we are. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna bullshit the audience. Sooner or later, it's gonna come down to war, unless people or races get enlightened. So, would you rather be in a situation where the war's coming and you're separated, or be in a situation where war's coming, you're united, where you can defend yourselves?
Right.
And actually get around the table and put up a seat to the table now, yeah, where you can negotiate peace and negotiate understanding and negotiate on the behalf of our people. Which would our people rather? Because this is something that we're gonna actually start to think about. Regardless, people are very ignorant right now. All the races have been lied to, so and we're being played against each other. So we've gotta get to that point because at the end of the day, yeah, unless everybody gets enlightened, it's gonna happen. So we need to get in a position where we can be involved in a war and war our way to the table to negotiate peace. Because this is what would have happened with the Black Panther Party had they not had been taken out the way how they were. They would have blasted their way to the negotiation table because they have great influence throughout the world. So this is what we got to get to as a people, and this is what we got to deal with. I think there were some more questions. Let's see if I can find some more questions. I don't know if I can. I can't see any more questions. So if anybody watching has got any questions, would you like to type them? Please, because we'll try to answer them as best as we possibly can. Anything, it doesn't even matter if it's not about anything that we've spoken about. If anybody has any questions whatsoever, if we can answer them, we'll do our best to answer them. Just a couple of minutes just to see if anybody's got any questions or anything like that. If not, then I think we can call this the greatest show done so far. Definitely. So, yeah. And what I'll do actually is I'll go on your page and I'll read out a few posts that you post.
Okay.
So people can see where you're at. Okay. All right, then. This is the Brazilian Indians being sent to Europe and Africa in the 1500s as slaves, laborers, and prostitutes. All right. Say it again, sorry.
No, I said yeah. You look at the source.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it. That's what I was looking for.
All right, cool.
If it shows up. Computer's moving slow.
All right, so it's all right.
Read it.
Okay, let me see if I can read it. Okay, it is Vox states of Noranha called Lorana during 1502 to 1503 is this merchant's involvement with San George de Mina in brackets Ghana, including supplying all slaves and wine to the port. Simultaneously, Loranja held leases for Brazil and Guinea pepper monopoly. Most of the slaves taken to Mina were gathered together on Sao Tome Island, but it seems highly likely that Nohana would have utilized some of the Brazilian slaves he acquired in his African activities. At the very least, as mariners and laborers. A Brazilian scholar, Jose Herínio Rodrigues, has written that from the 17th to the 19th century, Brazil had more contact with and greater bonds with Angola, Dahomey, and parts of the coast of Mina and Guinea than Portugal did itself. Many Brazilians went to Angola as soldiers, peddlers, businessmen, prostitutes, and exiles. It will be very interesting to trace the first Brazilian-American impact directly upon Africa. But doubtless, it is more or less simultaneous with the first African impact upon Brazil. By the 1550s, native Brazilians were in Portugal in some numbers, and at about the same time, the regular shipment of Africans to Brazil commenced. The Brazil-African trade at first went largely via Portugal, but gradually became direct. All right, that was that post.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So
Very,
there's
very interesting.
about people from here being sent to other places that they never speak about. They only speak about um, African people being sent,
Yeah,
America, the islands, Caribbean, South America, but they're never the other way around. So yeah, I
yeah,
thought that was interesting, that it was kind of like how for those people to go there, because those are the same people who colonized, they are colonized here, so the same group of
yeah.
people.
And this is what our people have to know, because if our people don't know the real truth and the fact that we're being lied to about our history, then we're going to continue to make these same mistakes. And this is what our people have got to realize. All right, I'm just going to find one more thing, what I think's very interesting on your page
Okay.
to talk about. Um, 1 second. Give us a moment, audience.
Hmm.
There's a lot of stuff here. Uh, sorry,
Yeah,
let's look at
my
something else. Okay. All right. I know actually I want to talk about this. The Ancestry.com scandal. Um, basically,
But what's the scandal? I think the whole thing is, it's not as accurate as they portray it to be. Because just
definitely not.
that example we just saw. So who are those Brazilian people in Africa? What is their DNA?
Exactly. They
But the
don't know
people,
it.
yeah, the people who came from Africa over here and they joined those Brazilian tribes, possibly. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like the people or the tribes, and they moved around. You can't like pinpoint to to a region. People have moved for so long, and then like for West Africa, the people haven't been there that long. They recently migrated within the last 2,000.
See, this is what I want people to hear. Africa was one of the last places on this planet to get populated. Like you heard Tash say,
Yeah,
it got populated about 2,000 years ago. And to
came,
even say this,
yeah, those people came from the east. Like the people who are in West Africa now, they came from like, Israel, Middle East, parts of Asia, the other side of Africa. So it's not those people weren't always there. They moved around. So to try
see,
to limit people to a landmass or area is kind of shortchanging the people, and that's what we constantly see going on because people could have came from somewhere else even if they're currently in a location. You know.
exactly. And this is why people gotta like realize that we are being lied to. This is a conspiracy. Like a friend sent me a video of a white Jew saying that basically they've been lied to. The people that they've been told are the Jews, the white Jews, are not the real Jews. Sorry, these people are from Rome. They're descendants of Rome. That the real Jews are the black Jews. Like the identity is needed to be told, and this is why. I state that we have to know where we come from. This is why we have this scam like Ancestry.com, trying to confuse the people of who they are. Because end of the day, if we find who we are, we know who they are. And
Oh yeah,
currently, we don't know who they are.
yeah,
So this is the problem.
yeah.
So we've actually got to start to dig into these things and start to realize that we can only trust ourselves.
Oh yeah, and you know,
Even
but our history too. You have to talk to the African. If you want to know about Africa. I mean, we're too busy going to the Europeans for other history as the only.
exactly,
But you know, I mean, I'm not saying not look at European sources, but also include the people to confirm
yep,
what outsiders are saying about themselves. But, you know, we have to do that.
it's true. And our people have to go back to our oral stories and our oral traditions. It's that simple because our
Mm,
oral stories have the true history. Like he says, that family Bible can be used in court. And for the
yes,
audience that don't know what I'm talking about, the family Bible, our people have the names of all our family. So it doesn't matter who was taken from where. If you can trace yourself back here, like how I've traced myself back here, you can find out where you come from and you can find out what nation you come from, as I found out what nation I've come from. So it can be done. And once you do that, yeah, the evidence is right there, yeah, for you to claim who you are.
and you said cannot. What information are you talking about?
I don't know. Someone's Emporis. I don't know what that means.
I think he's
Let me
saying
see if I can.
I think he meant empress. Tried to spell check
Oh,
us.
okay.
Yeah, he said I need
Oh,
more.
yes.
But which
Yeah.
information? The information about Africa is in the book called The History of Africa. Let me find the author for you. But that book goes into how West Africa was desolate until, you know, around, they're guessing around 2,000, 1,000 years ago, when tribes from the places came there and populated it. It used to only be like the Pygmy and the San, the actual indigenous people of that area. The other people who came later, like the Bantu, were not indigenous to West Africa. So let me
See
find it.
there.
And the tribe, you know, the tribes over there confirmed that they did come from the east. So if you talk to African, I can find it. I just saw it. So yeah, as history of Africa, Kevin Shellington. You probably
Say that again. You broke up a little bit.
it's called The History of Africa by Kevin Shellington. Um,
Okay.
it's just the
Kenneth,
author.
did you get that?
Yeah, so you should it'll come up on Amazon.com and you can buy it there, or you could probably
Okay.
find it in your library. Yeah.
Speaking of books, yeah, what's that book on Amazon that's selling for like £250,000? I can't remember. Is it 101 Amazing Facts about Indians or Native
Black,
Indians or something like that?
Black Indians. Well, that book is out of print. That's why. But the author, he's actually reprinting, I guess, self-publishing it himself. So you could probably contact him and get it for like $30. So
Serious?
uh, I don't have,
Okay.
but if you look it up, you should be able to come into that. His phone number,
Oh,
yeah, to order that book. but I don't have it on
Okay.
me.
Okay. No problem. I will definitely be looking up that because
Right.
when I was reading what the book was about, it says it helps psychologize the mind of what's happened to us and bring us back into our natural self. So I definitely want to take a read of that book and see exactly what that book is about and what it entails because anything that can help me on my journey, I'm down for. So I'm definitely want to take a look at that book. Have you got any other books that the audience should read?
Like I said, the enslavement of the American Indian by Barbara Alexer is a good one. Um, of course, Africans and Native Americans by Jack Forbes is good. If you go look
Yeah.
in a couple of different books that are good, and then if you search for like in the for journals, search in the journals, there's a lot of about that. I mentioned
Okay.
the Stringerous Puritan, which you can see how they built the ships and they shipped out those Pequot people during the war, shipped them out to.
Okay.
That's in that book, the Stringerous Puritan.
Okay. That sounds that sounds good. Like audience, you just had a list of sources where you can go and start doing your own research provided by what I'm gonna call Empress Tasha. She.
Mm-hmm.
So you be given the sources, go out, do your own research, and actually stop listening to mainstream media and start to think for yourself.
Right.
Analytical thinking is what's needed by all races right now, and an honest heart to deal with the truth. That's what's needed by all races right now because right now we're being manipulated, and unless we can see the truth and know the truth and accept the truth, we're not
Mm-hmm.
going to be able to change the path of destruction that they put us on. So that's what I want to say before we get out of here. Tash, you got anything you want to say?
No, that's it. I appreciate everyone watching and supporting. And hopefully, I have my channel up soon. I'm trying to get up this week. I was supposed to get up last week, but I've been sick, so get
Okay.
my to get this information out to a wider audience. And yeah,
Yeah.
you guys books. You probably find some of them at the library, and
Okay.
on the books are online too. So. Mm.
All right then. All right, Tash. Thank you for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it. We'll be having another show with you soon. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank
And thanks to our Raw Show audience. Thank you guys for watching. Remember, share the video, like our page. It's the Raw Show. And we're out. Tash, thank you again. And I'll speak to you shortly.
you. Okay, peace.
All right. All right. See ya. All right. Bye.